This is the story of Louis Effinger, whose gravestone is to the right of the orange marker, and this is his family, who were the first people to settle the upper Rattlesnake Valley in about 1881 or 1882. And Sebastian eventually accumulated about 1,000 acres near the confluence of Spring Creek and Rattlesnake Creek, and they were just very hardworking people. And I think that everything was going along quite smoothly for them, despite the hard work, until World War I came along, and they, being of German extraction, were immediately suspect in a kind of a climate of fear in this country. In 1918, the state of Montana passed a sedition law that essentially criminalized the expression of any anti-war opinion or speaking against the United States in a time of war. And Louis was the first person who was convicted under that law in Missoula County. He was downtown in front of a general store, and a newsboy came along, and the headline spoke of some German victory, and he was reported to have expressed an opinion in favor of that. And the farmer that he was speaking to punched him in the face. Somebody ran to get a rope, and they probably would have lynched him, except a constable stepped in and saved him. However, he was tried later that year under this very harsh sedition law, and was sentenced, or excuse me, was fined $800, which was amounted to about $11,000 in today's money. So the family had to pay that, and Louis didn't live much longer. He dropped dead in his field in July of 1921 at the age of 43. So he had a pretty tough life. In 2006, he and the other 78 people who were convicted of sedition in Montana, including 6 in Missoula County, were posthumously pardoned by the governor in Helena. And on the easel there are pictures of the men and women from Montana who actually went to prison from convicted by that sedition law. So that was the short life of Louis Effinger. Children? He did not. He was a bachelor, and was never married. He had some nieces and nephews, but I don't know of any living relatives. So then, was the homestead abandoned, or? The homestead, shortly after Louis died, his mother was still alive, but shortly after that, the homestead was sold to a family that ran a dairy operation, and it was called, wasn't really familiar with the name, but it was called, I know I have it here. It was called the Sun Ray Dairy. Edward and Minnie Ray came in from Grass Valley, and they ran a herd of about 40 dairy cows. They sold milk to Missoula.
Yeah, I remember, because then Nils Folsom ended up with the land, and he ran Angus cattle there, and then he subdivided the main field around the houses there, and then we ended up buying a lot and built a house.
Oh, did you?
So the old Effinger Bridge was just real close to us.
Yeah, and the Effinger cabin still exists on the east side of the creek, and it's owned by Jan Holm. And you can see it. It's still standing.
I think it's up the canyon toward Newman's, is what I think. It was interesting because I knew the Folsom grew up with him, and they ran the cattle out there. And they knew, and Ray, I don't know if that was a relative or just somebody they bought the farm from.
Yeah, but originally Sebastian was very active in irrigation and bringing water to the valley, and he would dam. There was a string of lakes high up called the Effinger Lakes,
I'll be darned.
and they were dammed, and then they would breach the dams and bring the water down to irrigate the crops, and then eventually Montana Water company took over that.
Yeah.
Took
The
over
dam
those.
still exists.
Does it?
I mean, do they still?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so. They were just earthen dams, and they would have been eroded by now. There might be some little berms there now. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There were some berms because you could canoe on them. So.
Yeah.